So episode 3 begins with a minor difference to all the other episodes in the entire series, by displaying the title card on a sun rising background rather than that of the standard white background. Why this is the case is anyone's guess, but I've always liked the idea that this was because of the major tone shift and reveals that we actually get in this episode. Almost as if the rising sun in the backdrop is letting us know that this is where the story about war and death really truly begins. But like always, I do admit that I may be just overcooking just a little bit with this thought process. But either way, episode 3, the Southern Air Temple, begins with Aang telling Katara all about the beautiful air temples that he remembers.
I know you're excited, but it's been 100 years since you've been home.
That's why I'm so excited.
Now, while I understand many would find Aang's willingness to return to the place where everyone he once knew is gone a bit weird and confusing, I always personally liked how Aang pretty much blocked out any belief that what awaits him at the temples could be bad. And the fact that he only wants to show off to his friends what he remembers to be fun and cool, to me shows his innocence and reminds us that while he may be the child of prophecy and the savior of the world, he's still just a 12-year-old child who knows nothing about war, victory, or death. He's just a child that wants to play airball. Oh, and I also really like Katara managing his expectations in this moment, as it shows that motherly side to her that she's developed during her time looking after Sokka and the other kids of the village. It's a very mature touch to her character and something that only becomes more apparent as the show goes on. Zuko having a much smaller ship than the others just highlights his limited means and low standing currently in the Fire Nation.
Prince Zuko.
Captain Zhao.
It's commander now.
I always love the sense of self-importance and calming but powerful tone presented by Zhao in this scene. Because while he does grow to be a bit of a dick, in this introduction we get the sense that he's actually someone of importance and potentially danger.
Our ship is being repaired.
That's quite a bit of damage.
What? Did we crash or something?
Yes! Right into an Earth Kingdom ship.
Really?
Correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't remember ever seeing a single Earth Kingdom ship in the entire series. And I also can't remember any other mention of such a thing at any point along the entire story, which may actually explain why Zhao found this tale about an Earth Kingdom ship to be a load of bullshit, because Earth Kingdom ships simply don't exist.
Aang, I just want you to be prepared for what you might see. The Fire Nation is ruthless. They killed my mother. They could have done the same to your people.
Already this episode's given off a more mature feeling than the first 2 episodes. And as you may remember, it only gets more intense from here on out.
You don't understand, Katara. The only way to get to an Airbender temple is on a flying bison.
Okay, so this does raise a very important question. And that's how exactly did they actually reach the air temples? Because of course they didn't have the grapple tanks or the airships 100 years ago. So could it really have been like the live action and they simply just flew up there? Or could it have been by some other means? Because I've always liked the thought of dragons existing like the bisons, being an everyday pet to the members of the Fire Nation. And given that it was Zuko that said Sozin was the one who hunted them down and made them extinct, it really would add up that they might have existed and the Fire Nation might have used them to reach all the air temples. But again, that's just my theory.
How is your search for the Avatar going?
We haven't found him yet.
Did you really expect to? The Avatar died 100 years ago. Unless you found some evidence that the Avatar is alive.
More intense aura being displayed by Zhao at this moment, which only serves to make what he became later on all the more disappointing.
Commander Zhao, we interrogated the crew as you instructed. They confirmed Prince Zuko had the Avatar in custody, but let him escape.
Like, look at this. His presence in this episode is nothing short of perfection. Why did they have to ruin him so bad down the line? Why?
This place used to be full of monks and lemurs and bison. Now there's just a bunch of weeds.
We still get that negative feeling right here, and honestly, I think as much as he's trying to hold it together, I think Aang is actually feeling it too. Which makes Sokka changing the subject and asking about airball all the more respectable. Like, the guy's really looking out for a friend right here. Now, I've always thought Aang was a bit of a dick in this moment. Like, he knows Sokka has no chance in hell against an airbender at airball, but he still gloats and boasts about beating him 7-0. Like, come on, give my guy a break. He's trying his best out here. Oh, and did you know that he actually holds up the number 7 with his fingers in this scene? Which is something that I actually never noticed before this video.
Who's that?
Monkey Atso, the greatest airbender in the world. He taught me everything I know.
Immediately we can see that Aang holds Gyatso in a much higher regard than anyone else in the show, and has even been influenced by him to the point that they almost appear like father and son in most of the scenes, which is actually very nice to see. Oh, and I also really love the beauty displayed in this flashback scene, as it really does make the air nomads and the air temples appear as though they are like heaven on earth for the people like Aang who grew up there. I love the idea of a door that only one nation can open, as it makes so much sense in a world like this one to just have something like that. Like, why would you risk any outside force gaining your people's history and secrets of your nation? You just wouldn't.
Commander Zhao, I've been hunting the Avatar for 2 years and
And you failed! Capturing the Avatar is too important to leave in a teenager's hands. He's mine now.
Honestly, I kind of have to back Zhao here. It really is too important for any one man, or as he points out, teenager, to handle alone.
More tea, please.
Okay, so this is the Avatar's order, right? The order in which the past lives came to be. So why is it that this random guy is in Kyoshi's spot? Like, here's Roku, but who the hell is that? Did you know that the Fire Nation intro music actually plays when the team believes Momo is a Fire Nation soldier coming to capture them?
That firebender won't know what hit him.
Lemur!
dinner.
This fun chase scene came at just the right moment, as things were getting very serious for a second there. I really like how Aang's eyes in the scene are watery to show the air hitting them. It's just an incredibly unneeded but highly appreciated touch, I can't lie.
You can't compete with me. You're just a banished prince.
Once I deliver the Avatar to my father, he will welcome me home with honor and restore my rightful place on the throne.
Now we get a lot of information about Zuko in this scene. We finally learn that he's actually been banished by the Fire Nation and can only return home if he finds the Avatar, which actually works to explain why he's so obsessed with Aang in the first place, as it's his only way to be reunited with his family.
You have the scar to prove it.
Oh, maybe you'd like one to match.
Is that a challenge?
An Agni Kai at sunset.
Prince Zuko, have you forgotten what happened last time you dueled the Master?
I will never forget.
Now I love this pan to the scar, as it just says that this scar, which is so character defining, came from some important past experience with one of these Agni Kais, which I also can't lie, does give us more questions than it answers, but that's what we love about the writing in the Avatar series. All the questions that only get answered with more questions. God damn, look at all those Fire Nation bodies, with just Gyatso at the end. This guy really was an animal of an airbender back when he was alive.
Gyatso.
The way Aang just falls to his knees after realizing it's Gyatso is absolutely heartbreaking, I can't lie.
Everything will be alright. Let's get out of here.
This shows that the Avatar state is not only deeply attached to Aang's combative state, but also his emotional one, which is very important for the future of his character. Okay, so while I understand that this shows that the Avatar has returned, it's also very confusing given that in the last episode, Aang went into the Avatar state and none of this actually happened. Sure, you could say it's the location he's in that made it happen, but it's still quite a bit questionable. Now, while this all looks incredibly powerful and cool, the coolest part of all of it is that while destroying everything around him, Aang still manages to keep Gyatso's body untouched, which is just so goddamn cool I can't even put it into words. Okay, so while a fight between Zuko and Zhao sounds like it would go so hard and be one of the best fights in all of Avatar, it's actually quite the opposite, and it's honestly potentially the worst fight in the entire series. It's slow and lacking something that all other fights have, and just ends up reusing animation frames over and over again to the point that it just looks lazy and uninspired. Which really does suck when you think about the potential that a scene like this one could have really had. Like sure, that spin kick from Zuko was pretty cool, but that was about the only cool thing in this entire fight. Like look at these reused frames, it just looks so lazy and boring.
Do it! That's it? Your father raised a coward.
Now I actually really love that Zuko spared Zhao in this moment, because while this is the guy that he likely hates the most in the entire world, in his heart Zuko knows even he isn't worth soiling his honor over. He's more than that, and this moment just showed that. Now I also love how Iroh steps in and blocks his attack like it's nothing, because it doesn't just present Iroh as powerful, but also respectful and protective of Zuko. which we all know is one of the best parts of Iroh's entire character, his fatherly instincts towards Zuko.
Aang, I know you're upset. And I know how hard it is to lose the people you love. Monk Gyatso and the other airbenders may be gone, but you still have a family.
Now, Katara being the one to break Aang out of his rage is just perfect, given the relationship that forms between them down the line. But I also like how she did this by explaining that he's not alone, and that they are his family now, showing that over their short time together, they have formed a deeper connection than even we realized. Now we return to the room of Avatar statues, where it's revealed that the guy from earlier has been now switched out with this woman, who most definitely isn't Kyoshi. Like,
Who are you? Say hello to the newest member of our family,
What are you gonna name him?
Momo.
now we end off with Momo joining the team, as a friend to some and dinner to others. Now overall, this is another great episode, and honestly one of the best episodes in the entire series in my opinion, which honestly just made it all the more enjoyable to talk about. But for now, we've reached the end of this video. Like always, subscribe and hit the bell so you don't miss episode 4 when it finally drops. Aside from that, just have a great day or night wherever you are, and peace.